Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we will discuss the second topic, which is about the theory of consumer behavior. And by the way, I have assumed that you have watched the video discussions I have posted last week because I have discussed there the basic concepts of economics and define what is economics, then differentiate the two subfields of economics and more other concepts of economics. And again, one of the concepts being discussed in the preliminary topics is that economics is a social science. And social sciences are concerned with the study of human behavior. So, in economics, pag-usapan natin kung paano ang isang consumer mag-decide on what goods to buy given his or her limited budget or limited income. Then also, we will study the behavior of the producers or behavior of the businesses. Okay, so in the next chapter, so we will discuss production theory. So, paano naman kaya magde-decide yung producer in the production of goods and services? And also the government or the policy makers, how they decide on what policy to implement. For example, what or how much tax is imposed in the production of alcohol, for example, or how much tax is imposed on the income earned by the consumers. So these three, the consumers, producers, and the government, are called the economic actors. So what is a theory of consumer behavior? What is this theory is all about? The consumer behavior is best understood in three steps or principles. So number one, economic actors, so yung na-mention ko, consumers, producers, and government, have preferences over allocations of the world's resources. So, for example, si consumer or we as a consumers faced with thousands of preferences or ibig sabihin thousands of goods and services available in the economy. Okay, then number two, although napakadaming available goods and services na pwede nating bilhin or gusto nating maangkin, but we are constrained or our choices are being constrained or our income is limited. So we cannot have all the goods and services we want in the economy. So consumers face budget constraints or income constraints. The number three, so we put consumer preferences and budget constraints together to determine consumer choice. So, ibig sabihin, given the above, the first two principles or first two steps, people choose the location that they most prefer. Or in other words, given our preferences and limited income, what combinations of goods are we going to buy to maximize our satisfaction? The theory of consumer behavior is useful for understanding the demand side of the market. So when we say demand side of the market, we are talking here the consumer behavior. Diba? Demand side or the demanders. Okay? Who are the demanders? Tayo, diba? The consumers. Then we have also the term utility in economics. Utility is equal to satisfaction or happiness. Utility measures the amount of satisfaction derived from the consumption of a good. So there are two concepts of utility or there are two approaches of utility. Ibig sabihin, how we measure our level of satisfaction. So there are two approaches. Number one, we have cardinal utility approach. Then the second one is ordinal utility approach. In cardinal utility approach, it simply assumes that we can assign values for utility. So the keyword is the term value. So for example, pizza. Okay, how satisfied are you from eating a slice of pizza? If we assign values on our level of satisfaction from eating a slice of pizza, then the unit is utils. So pwedeng 100 utils from eating a slice of pizza or 50 utils from eating a cone of ice cream. Then the second approach, ordinal utility approach, it does not assign values but instead works with a ranking of preferences. So for example, between apple, banana, and orange, maybe for some consumer, mas happy siya from eating apple. Then next is banana, then third si orange. So pwedeng i-rank mo siya as first, second, third. Or pwede rin highest to lowest. So again, sa ordinal utility approach, we simply rank or our level of satisfaction from the consumption of a good. Or we have also the term ordinal utility function. So when we say function, ano yun? Parang equation, di ba? Or relationship between two variables. And when we say function, it talks about the relationship between two variables. Okay, so the ordinal utility function is expressed as this one. So U, we denote utility as U. U is a function of yung mga x's. U is a function of x1, x2, x3 hanggang xn. So itong mga x dito, that's the quantities of each good consumed. So pwedeng apple, orange, banana. Ibig sabihin sa equation na to or sa function na to, the more goods that we consume, the higher also is our level of satisfaction or utility. But take note, class, in constructing a utility function, prices are disregarded. In constructing ordinal utility function, we isolate the effect of price or we exclude the role of prices. Okay, bakit kaya? Because of course, price can affect the number of the quantities of each good consumed by the consumer. Ibig sabihin, kung halimbawa mahal yung apple, so affected yung consumption ng consumer. Affected na din yung utility function or yung level of satisfaction. Term related to utility, which is total utility. So from the term itself, it simply means the total satisfaction or the overall level of satisfaction derived from consuming a good or service. Another is marginal utility or MU. It is the additional satisfaction that an individual derives from consuming an additional unit of a good or service, or incremental utility from consuming an additional unit of a good or service. For example, sa first slice of pizza, the happiness from consuming the first slice of pizza is 100. Sa second slice, the level of satisfaction is 50, for example. So the marginal utility of the second slice of pizza is, that's the additional utility from consuming the second slice of pizza. So all in all, ilan yung total utility? If we will add the first slice and the second slice, so 100 yung marginal utility sa first slice plus the marginal utility of the second slice. So the total utility is 150. So para mas clear, we'll have example. Okay, meron tayong table. Q here means quantity of pizza consumed by the consumer. Then TU, that means the total utility. MU is the marginal utility. The first and second column give the hypothetical figure or data on the utility of the consumer. So, if zero consumption, zero pizza, of course, no happiness or zero yung total utility. Sa first slice of pizza, kaya nag-assign tayo ng 20 utils. Okay, again, the unit is utils. So, 20 yung level of satisfaction. Then, if the consumer will consume 2 slices of pizza, the total utility is 27. If the consumer will consume 6 slices of pizza, the total utility is 34 utils. Okay, how about the marginal utility? Sa first slice of pizza, may nakuha tayong MU na 20. Paano nakuha si 20? We have here the formula for marginal utility. So, marginal utility is equal to the change in TU over the change in Q. So, itong delta here, yan, delta yan, symbol. That's the symbol for change. Parang triangle, so the symbol for change. And since we are talking about change, this formula is further equal to, so when you say change class, yung final value minus initial value. So, from 0 to 1, the final value is 20 minus the initial value na 0. Then, the denominator, the same. Change in Q naman, from 0 to 1. So, final value is 1. Initial value is 0. So, the answer is 20. Ibig sabihin, again, the marginal utility of the first slice of pizza is 20. So, kaya nakuha yung 20 dyan. How about the second slice? What is the marginal utility of the second slice? Paano nakuha si 7? So, the same process using this formula. So, from first to second na slice. So, 27 minus 20 divided by 2 over 1. So, it is now equal to 7. And so on and so forth. You can try, class. Pwede nyong isolve yung pangatlo, paano nakuha si 5, paano nakuha si 0. And kung mapapansin nyo, yung behavior or yung property ni marginal utility, 'di ba? Habang dumami or habang tumataas yung level of consumption or as quantity increases from 0 to 6, the marginal utility of the consumer declines. Ibig sabihin, this behavior of the marginal utility is based on the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, law of diminishing marginal utility, it is a situation where the additional satisfaction derived from consuming an additional unit of the good decreases as the individual consumes more of the good. First slice, siguro yung level of satisfaction mo ay medyo mataas pa, mas higher. Sa second slice, third slice, hanggang pang 10 or pang 8 slice, nagle-lessen yung marginal utility, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, habang kinakain mo yung pizza or the more pizza na nakain mo, parang nagsasawa ka, di ba? And yan yung behavior ng consumer, di ba? Nagsasawa. I hope na gets nyo yung idea of the law of diminishing marginal utility.